Okay, now I have expressed my grouse in the previous video. Let me not continue about on that topic. There is so much interesting that have been taking place over the in India all over this in the past 1 year. A lot of interesting things. Elections have taken place. Everything has happened. Some people have won, some people have lost. But even there, we end up whining. You lost this because of that. I lost it because of this. Why should we think about it? Leave it. Elections have taken place. This has happened. Let us look at it, how we can take the country together. Somebody does not decide that I have to be the leader and only do that. No, it's not necessary. So let us give opportunities to everybody, keeping that aside. Now, today, the hot topic is what Trump said. Trump has said that, please, we are not jokers and don't think that you can make a joker of us. I will put sanctions and I will put 100% tariffs if people de-dollarize. Now, let us understand what the BRICS nation, the de-dollarization concept is. De-dollarization was a word introduced by X in the past. So, in the past 1 year only, the concept of de-dollarization took place. Now, when did the concept of de-dollarization, or I would say the question of not using the dollar, I am not saying de-dollarization. Please, there's a distinction between de-dollarization and not using the dollar. It is not de-dollarization that India and the BRICS countries are looking at. They are looking at a new avenue of exchange of currencies. See, the dollar is the most powerful currency today. You have to accept it, and it will continue to be there because they are the far most consuming country in the world. India cannot, Russia cannot, Japan cannot, any other country cannot continue to consume as much as the US because it has got a guarantee given in the world that we will be able to meet our liabilities. Today, it has got a $36 trillion debt. Out of that, I think about approximately 5 to 8 trillions are in the credit card business. The credit card business is a very big business in the USA. That is why they are not willing to introduce a UPI. I'll come back to that later. No, $8 trillion is minimum credit card. So, are you thinking that the credit cards, you mean even 15%, 20% will not have a default? 2008. How does it run? So, we are all looking at that, the concept that the US will not fail. But can the US not fail? Yes, there is a possibility. But that doesn't mean that the currency is not strong. The dollar is still the prime currency in the world. People are willing to bet on it. So there is nothing wrong in it. If you feel confident, why not you bet on it? If I feel confident that China is going to rise and China's yuan is going to be the prime currency, I will invest in buying yuan. That is what my concept would be. Now, here what I would say Trump is saying is that, look here, don't try to kill the dollar. And BRICS and our friend Jay Shankar, our EAM, has extremely, very clearly and positively said that we are not going in for a new currency. We are trying to utilize our currency in exchange for the facilities and materials, goods and services received from other countries, and other countries are willing to accept our rupees and our currencies. It is only like saying that now Trump cannot come and say that you cannot use rupees in Calcutta, you cannot use rupees in exchange anywhere in India, you have to only use dollars. No, that is not the concept Trump is talking about. What he is trying to talk about is don't try to make another currency stronger than the dollar. If you try to make that currency stronger than the dollar, I am going to put 100% tariffs such that you will not be able to export to my country. Now, I will come to the topic of the 100% tariffs at a later date. But currently, what BRICS people are saying, the countries included in BRICS are saying is, okay, how did it come? How did it come? After the sanctions and $300 billion of the Russian country was blocked, and those assets were blocked for frozen and they could not use it, Russia had to survive. So, India had to survive. So, what did India do? India said, okay, because the war created a fear of the oil crisis. I remember 1973. In 1973, when Sheikh Yamani said that he created a furor and he created what he call is known as the petrodollar. And the oil prices started rising, and today you must accept it. These are raw material which is very necessary. It has to be refined and used all over the world. We are dependent on oil, and the countries who had the oil exploited it. If I had the oil also, I will do the same thing. Nothing wrong in it. And therefore, I leave that aside. Let us come back to the topic what I'm looking at. The topic I'm looking at is now Trump is not threatening on 100% tariffs on regular exports, use of your currency in X country, Y country. No, he's not talking about that. He's not so dumb and stupid. Neither as economists dumb and stupid. I could have expected it of somebody else, but not Trump and his group, because they have good people who are managing and who are willing to give their services to that country. So if you look at Elon Musk, he has come from zero to today. He is raiding, flying rockets to the moon and rockets everywhere. And we are using his satellites, and he's got a satellite Starlink, and everybody's worried if Starlink comes, what will happen to the cable operators who are using cables to connect, towers and give us our services. So leaving that aside, so therefore Trump is also aware that if he puts 100% tariffs, the cost of so many manufactured items, like even a simple iPhone, an iPad, is a Xiaomi phone, anything for that matter coming out from other countries, is so expensive that Americans will not be able to afford it, because most of the Americans cannot afford it. They will not be able to purchase it. If that happens, it's going to have a consequence on the dollar itself. So I think that they are not so stupid and foolish to say that we will pay that. It is only a statement to state that, look here, we can trade in our currencies, we can do anything, but don't touch a raw nerve, which is the dollar supremacy. They know sometime that dollar will have to come down. They know that they will not be able to sustain this huge deficit of 36 trillion. It is rising by $6 billion per day. And it is not sustainable for any economy. I would say even if they have all the resources, everything is manufactured, they will not be able to sustain this debt. So they also know they have to play a game in the world and protect their interests and also protect their political friends. Those who voted for him, they expect certain returns from their investment by electing him as a president. And one of this is this. He will try to protect the dollar to the ultimate, which any country, which any man, any self-respecting person will do it. For example, if you take Modi, at the time of the New York Times has said very clearly in the editorial, Modi is not an ordinary person. He is a person who will go all the way to save the interest of India. So the same way, Trump is doing all the same thing. He's going all the way to save the interest of the dollar, on which the US stands, the most powerful country in the world. So let us not, let us not get scared about all these tariffs and this talk about de-dollarization. It is all nice to read in the newspapers, but we have to be practical. And the practicality is that the world understands that there is a rejigging which is taking place. And the countries who have no resources to buy the dollar at expensive rates will be willing to accept other currencies for survival, because the survival is dependent on that. If an economy is to survive, it requires services and goods, and for that it'll go to any extent to survive. And what is that possibility? It will say, look here, Venezuela may say, look here, I'm willing to supply the oil to you if you give me rupees, even Australian dollar, you give me yuan, you give me anything, but I'm willing to supply my oil to you because I require money for that. Because Venezuela can export oil, get Indian rupees, convert it into dollars and use it for its purpose if it wants to. Or it can buy goods from India which are cheaper from other, and import goods from India which are cheaper, and India is now manufacturing so many, manufacturing arms, it is manufacturing high-tech products, it is manufacturing high-tech armored vehicles, is producing enough weaponry. They can all buy from that. And as it's willing to invest, is export oil, I get you in rupees, I send you back the rupees, you give me materials for that, you give me arms and ammunition for that, or you can give me high-tech services for that. Anything can happen. So I would say that every country is looking at its self-interest. And Trump, as a president of the United States, is looking at protecting his currency. So what is wrong in it? See, we have to understand finance, economics, and it is not cherry picking. It is what you call a broad framework. And I'm sure there are a lot of people, economists, who understand this concept, and they know this 100% tariff is just a bullying tactic, and he is playing to the gallery. Everybody knows about it, and everybody should accept it, and it goes along. You should take it along with, in a stride. You can't be a media person who asks one question today and then forget about it and go to the next question. No. This is an economical function. It affects a nation. It affects the people. And therefore, it should be more broadly viewed, more broadly discussed. And as diplomacy plays its part, everybody will understand and everybody will come to an understanding. And I hope that there will be better, sense prevailing for the people, not to take figuratively what Trump has said, but understand the subtle nuances that underline this statement. And we hope that in the future, that all this talk, creating confusion in the minds of the people of de-dollarization, withdrawing from the dollar, a new currency, etc., let us not look at it from that angle. Let us look at that we all work together to a more positive framework. Thank you.